I hope everyone out there is having an absolutely wonderful weekend. Would like to once again lead off today's video by saying a big thank you, humbly, to everyone who has joined us over at the Florida Maquis Patreon page. You guys are absolutely amazing. You have allowed me to do some things this holiday season that I didn't think I was going to be able to do. So thank you very, very much. $1 a month, even less if you pay for a whole year. I think it's like $10 or something like that. It's going to be the future of discussions like this online. This is where everyone is gravitating toward places where you can take the gloves off, so to speak. Another place where we can take the gloves off is Twitch. Now, I'm sure a lot of you haven't heard of Twitch.tv. It's primarily a gaming platform where people go and they play competitive games. You can also use it to just talk directly. As you can see, I'm up here in the upper right-hand corner. The game that we're playing, Middle-earth: Shadow of War, is visually absolutely stunning. It's totally beautiful. They did an incredible job with it, and it's more of a backdrop. I mean, there are some things that go on in the video that are entertaining, but primarily we just have a quote-unquote gloves-off discussion about the topics of the day or things we've discussed here at YouTube. Twitch doesn't really police every little word. And that's kind of the advantage of being here. So Patreon, Twitch, these are the platforms of the future. Now, the topic of today's video: immorality versus amorality. Immorality says certain things are right and wrong, but I don't care. Amorality says there's no such thing as right or wrong, so still I don't care. But a humanist, and that's what you've got to pay attention to, says morality is situational and autonomous, meaning that what I believe to be right and wrong today for me might not be what's right or wrong for me tomorrow. I'm going to make it up as I go based on the situation. Now, we are going to see a lot more of this in 2022. Why? Because when the financial collapse happens, morality is going to be a luxury people are going to get rid of. It's going to be the first luxury they get rid of. Everybody's going to become a humanist, literally overnight. I used an image much like this in a series of videos I did some months back talking about what's coming for the North. They're trying to bleed this into Florida a little bit. And I have evidence for this. And I also have evidence that Nikki watches the Florida Maquis. Some might ask, who's Nikki Fried? Well, she is the agriculture commissioner for the state of Florida, the lone statewide elected Democrat. And she has announced that she's going to be running against Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, a lot of people have laughed at this because even the National Democratic Party has washed their hands of Florida. They have said they're not going to be putting a lot of money into trying to unseat Governor DeSantis because they see him as almost bulletproof. Well, she hasn't given up, but she has figured something out. And don't underestimate her. I know a lot of people are like, how could DeSantis lose? Everybody's on his side. Even you, Maquis, you've showed these videos where there's even Democrats. That's true. There are a great many people on the side of Governor DeSantis. But oh, what a difference a year can make. And Nikki Fried has figured something out about the humanist movement and how to galvanize them. See, there was this article that came out back in September, and I thought it was a little strange, but now it's starting to make sense. Gloves are off. Nikki Fried comes out swinging on Charlie Crist. Now, most of the time when she is attacking someone, it's someone from the other side of the aisle. But in this particular case, she went after Charlie Crist. And to sum the article up, to September 2021. We can't afford to dance around this primary anymore. There's just too much at stake. We need to be working on the general now. Charlie is a, quote, nice guy, but he's not going to win this primary. So let's start the general now. That's a big statement. That's a big statement because apparently it's not just the gloves that are coming off for Nikki Fried. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are like sitting back in your chair going, whoa, wait a minute. Who are these people? Well, you see, Nikki Fried has figured something out. She raised over 13 grand in one day. You know how she did it? She threw on an American flag bikini top with a white tank over it, a Budweiser cap, some big old gaudy sunglasses, hoop earrings, made sure there was a empty beer can in sight down here lower right, and posed by a pickup truck. Now, the only other picture I could find of Nikki Fried, and there's a lot of them, where she was in a tank top was this one from the gym. See, she's figured something out. Since the National Democratic Party isn't sending her any money, she's basically turning her Twitter account into an OnlyFans. 13 grand in one day. 423 contributions, $32 because she had an American flag bikini top on with a white tank. Here's the initial post. We're going to dominate Ron DeSantis in South Florida, but we're going to do just fine in North Florida too. Now, obviously, she's pandering. Any adult can see this. But that comment I made about her watching the Florida Maquis, some are probably scratching their heads. This was this morning at 9 a.m. Right now, it's about 12:55 p.m. when I'm recording this. Her tweet, good morning to all of you who can handle seeing an accomplished woman in a tank top without freaking out. I'm running for governor in 2022, not 1922. Something new. Now, those of you who watch my videos, that's going to ring a bell. Here is this channel, 15 December, titled Crash Alert. Crypto CEOs now confirm a catastrophic drop is imminent. Top investors fleeing. At the end of the video, we talk about this idea of government setting morality standards and how some people think that we should go back to the good old days. But listen to the detail of what I was talking about just on the 15th. See, there's a lot of groups of people out there who want to talk about liberty. And they would talk about the Constitution. They would talk about freedom. And they would talk about being a rebel. And they would talk about being defiant. And having laissez-faire politics. Meaning laissez-faire being a French term, meaning just let, be what will be. And keep government out of things. Some might say, well, there should be standards of decency. Who decides that? Who decides that? You see, way back in 2010, in protest against the invasive screenings at the TSA at the airport, this woman decided she was going to wear a bikini through airport screening. She had a trench coat on. She showed up wearing boots and a trench coat and this underneath it to make the point. And then this was this year. This particular person was wearing a mask and a bikini through airport screening. No lie, not making this up. Now, some might say we need to get back to the good old days. We need to get back to the days when things were a lot more moral and people went to church and they... You mean like here? This is a picture from 1922. 1922 at a beach. I believe this is either New Jersey or Maryland. No, pardon me. This is actually in Chicago. So, on the 15th of December, the Florida Maquis talks about 1922 and the policing of women's garments at the beach and what they could and what they could not wear. And I also showed later on in the video, and I'll give you the link to it, where they arrested certain women for wearing certain bathing suits that they thought were inappropriate. And here, 4 days later, she talks about running for governor in 2022, not 1922. Literally having posed in a bikini top with a tank top. You see, this is what it's really all about. Some people are probably out there right now shaking their heads, wondering, why would she do this? Why would she lower herself that way? Well, you see, she's figured something out. There's 3 dynamics going on in her head right now, along with almost all Democrats in Florida. Number 1, they have this underlying sense of moral imperative. Now remember, morality for them is whatever they decide it is that day. It's whatever they decide it is for them that day. For them, it's making sure Trump doesn't come back in 2024, making sure DeSantis doesn't get, or just Death Santis doesn't get reelected in 22. You see, that's their height of morality. But they've been defeated so badly. With that stance, they're like a cornered cat. You see, a cornered cat feels like it has nothing to lose, so it'll do or try anything. Now, take that humanist morality, add in the attitude of a cornered cat, and then mix in the cocktail of drug addiction. This is, of course, Nikki Fried bragging about her marijuana card. Put those 3 things together, and you have what's going on with Nikki Fried. See, she's learned something. She's been abandoned by the National Democrat Party. So she's learning what opens doors to money. And it's going to make a difference. Do not underestimate the stupidity of people when it comes to this, and when you see somebody who has the same addiction as you do. There will be people out there that will simply vote for her because she's nice looking and she's pro-weed. And they're largely crypto pirates. And that's why they'll vote for her. See, she's moved on from the legalize part. And this is the smart part, to monetize. Because she's realized what makes the world go round. Who remembers this story? How this woman was castigated and attacked. I forget her name now. Victoria Treese, I believe was her name. She had, because of the issue with the 2020 sniffles, she had created an OnlyFans account. And she was able to work from home, take care of her kids, pay all of her bills. Privately, online. Pay only site. And she had enough wherewithal that she decided, you know what, I want to give back. I want to go volunteer some time. Well, somebody at the volunteer center figured out who she was. And they made the people in charge get rid of her. Because they didn't like that this was going on. See, nobody knew who she was. Somebody who paid for it knew who she was. And this is going to be a worldwide thing. This is going to be a worldwide thing. When finances go south, when currencies collapse, this is going to be the big moral push. Because remember, people are like, moral? What do you mean? How can prostitution be moral? Remember, humanists believe morality is situational and autonomous, meaning right now it's okay for you to think that prostitution is bad because it's up to you today, and that's okay. But tomorrow, if this happens, then you can think it's okay, and then 3 weeks from now, once the problem is solved, you can go back to thinking it's bad again. because it's situational and autonomous. There is no flat standard with a humanist of what is moral and what is not. And that's what Nikki Fried has figured out. That is what Nikki Fried has figured out, that morality is a floating thing. And it's up to the individual. And this is the real key about U.S. values versus Florida values. This is how they're going to try to take down Florida. They hate this. They loathe it. A governor that has been above reproach, totally above reproach, who has allowed people liberty, the ability to choose for themselves their own direction, without the heavy hand of government. We have led the world in this. And not only has D.C. felt powerless, so has the world. So believe me, they're going to find somebody like Nikki Fried, and the world is going to push behind her using a very old tactic. And this is where the crypto pirates come in. This is how they hide their money. And make no mistake, all they want is your money. All they want is your money, and then as soon as you give them power, they're going to take away your freedom. You mark my words. That is what they want. You see, these are Maquis tactics. A lot of people wonder about the etymology and the root of the channel name Florida Maquis. See, the French and the Spanish Maquis, when Franco and the Nazis took over, they had to resort to some very seedy and sordid tactics because they just couldn't stand up to them. There was this book, Soldiers of the Night, Stories of the French Resistance. You see, there are some stories of the night they don't tell in detail. And this is what Nikki Fried has figured out. City girls just seem to find out early how to open doors with just a smile. And this is what happens. I'm not saying this was her first choice. But if this is what it takes, manipulating people with drugs and other, she's not beyond it. And she's proven it. $13,380 in one day. Why? Nikki Fried threw on an American flag bikini top and a tank top, Budweiser hat, and a pickup truck. That's all it took. That is all it took. She's figured it out. And she watches the Florida Maquis. So be warned and be advised. This is what's coming. It's going to surprise a lot of people who thought they had it locked up in 2022. But unless people call this out for what it is and get out of the crypto... Oh, by the way, crypto game, that's what you're going to be supporting. You may be a conservative in your politics and a Republican, but if you're involved in the crypto, you're supporting Democrats. Make sure you understand that. There's some folks down here looking at this last little lump, and they're saying, see how wrong you were, Maquis? It's going back up again. This is where it was. And this is why they're begging for your cash. And they're going to continue to beg for your cash. Make no mistake. If you're in the crypto game, you're supporting Democrats. You're supporting liberals and pirates who are not beyond Maquis tactics. And I'll leave it there. It's just the reality, and people are going to have to accept it. The Maquis did whatever was necessary. And there are people out there right now feeling cornered, feeling like they have no other choice. And she's one of them. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.